All right, welcome everybody to Pollstar Live Digital Sessions, a series of live video streams we've been doing for a couple weeks now. We've had some big people. You can check out our hub page. We had on Dennis Arfa from Artist Group International. We had Peter Shapiro from Brooklyn Bowl. We had Alex Hodges from Nederlander, Dana Frank from First Avenue in Neva. We did something with Patterson Hood of the Tribe by Truckers. And today might very well be the best digital live session we've ever had because we have some game changers right here. People who are changing and moving this business forward, who we are lucky to have. And in fact, it just happened last night. Our two guests who are graciously here are Mike Brown of TempleLive. He runs 3 venues. He booked what is being called the first ticketed show since this whole damn thing started. It was held in Fort Smith, Arkansas. It went off last night. And the artist extraordinaire who has a mind-blowing voice and songs and talent is the great Travis McCready, who we are equally blessed to have with us today. So thank you both for coming. The first question is pretty much an obvious one, but I think it's on the lips of probably everybody in the business. What the hell happened last night, guys?
We had a rock and roll show.
Thank God. Tell us about the rock and roll show.
Man, you know, Travis killed it. Lauren killed it. We had, you know, the people that showed up. You know, the cool thing was we had this couple that got there and they were the first through the door. So it was like, you know, all these firsts happened. And you had the first people that bought tickets, you know, they were the first ones to buy when they went on sale. They were there when doors opened. They were just ecstatic to be able to get back out to a show. We had someone call from St. Louis that drove in that wasn't familiar with the band and wasn't familiar with the venue, but she was a stagehand and she was bringing her 4-year-old niece to the show for a show. And you know, it's just the kind of stories that you're used to having every, you know, 3 or 4 times a week that you've gone 60, 90 days without. It's like being held underwater, you know, and you can't breathe. And we got a breath of air last night.
Thank goodness. Travis, can you hear me?
Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you well. Where are you, first of all?
I'm on the interstate.
There you are.
I'm on the interstate about 45 minutes out from where we're going to play in Pineville, Missouri.
You're on the road again, like Bob Seger, which you played last night, right?
Well, maybe a little bit, you know, a little bit like that, maybe. He didn't have a giant Great Dane in a little tiny car, though.
We love the Great Dane, man. That was so cool. The dog was a big part of last night's show. But how did it go for you? What was your take on it?
Man, I mean, as well as possible, I thought. So the night before last, I believe, my stand-up bass player came from Tennessee, and the drums from Natchez. And I set like my catalog pretty much to or set list I made to them about 2 weeks ago, and they've been working on it on their own time. And I think we had never played together before, so we had like maybe 1 3-hour pretty much a sound check rehearsal yesterday, and that was all we had played together before we were on stage. So, and we did about 2.5 hours, so it went really well.
Well, man,
they did a great job.
It sounded great. It sounded like you guys have been playing together forever. And Van, your dog, who I know there's somewhere, he kind of stole the show at one point he had a bottle of water in his mouth and he was walking across the stage and he was jumping up on the camera that was filming.
Oh, man. He's a star, man.
He's a star. He might need obedience school, but he's definitely still a star there. So, Mike, man, it was, as I know, and you know, it was no easy task, this show coming together. You know, I know you were up against all kinds of odds, and there was a media circus, it seemed like, going on around this whole show. Can you talk a bit about the challenges you faced on the show?
Yeah. You know, we had direction from the government or the state of Arkansas that they were going to be opening large venues on May 4th. So we, you know, Travis and I have known each other for a while, and we'd been talking about getting them back up. And so we just kind of a little forward thinking with it and said, all right, let's do this in May. We were looking at May 8th. We said, no, let's push it another week to the 15th. We figured that they would come out with, you know, a 50% capacity with all the CDC guidelines. So we scaled it back to 20, which took us from 1,100 to 229. You know, we did everything that we could above and beyond what their directives were. Then they came out on the 4th and said, yeah, large venues like you can't open till the 18th. And when you do, you can only have 50 people in it. But if you're a place of worship or a church, you can open up on the 11th with no restrictions on thank you. At a distillery, you might as well, you know, imbibe or do what the dude would do. So they wouldn't.
Good on you.
They wouldn't budge. So you know, we were having dialogue back and forth with them, and then all of a sudden, you know, they start copying attorneys on emails, and so we get our legal team involved, and we're making some, you know, concessions and doing some things, and then we get blindsided at the governor's press conference that they're issuing a cease and desist order to us. So they issued their order, and prior to the cease and desist order, when they really started paying attention to the show, they sent over the health department, the Alcohol Beverage Commission, to try to see, you know, if we were in violation of anything to stop it that way. That didn't work. Then they went with the cease and desist, and we still didn't concede. We were weighing our options. We were still in conversations with them. The day before the show, they Gestapo'd us with the Alcohol Beverage Commission, where they took our permits off the wall and basically put us out of business with the document that literally said, but if you publicly announce you're not going to have the show, we'll give you your licenses back. So it's like being the little brother, and your big brother's got your, you know, your PS4 controller, and he's holding it over his head, making you say, "I'm the greatest." And when you do, he gives it to you. It didn't feel very good.
You know, Mike, it's a shame what happened, and thank goodness you were able to do the show. But I think what people may not understand, who haven't really been following this story that closely, is that when you guys went far and above what the best practices are that are being established. I mean,
yeah.
I'm looking at the list of stuff you guys had to do. Venue will be sanitized with fog sprayers. Masks will be required for patrons above the age of 10. All employees will wear face covering. The performer will have 12 feet from the audience. The hand sanitizers everywhere. Single signage will be at every exit. Everybody's walking one way through the theater. 10-person limit in all restrooms. Soap and paper towel dispensers will be no touch. Drinks will be prepackaged or have lids. Like, everything you did was like, it was farther than even the state had mandated. And
correct.
And in fact, didn't you actually trace all the ticket buyers and give them that information?
Yeah, we made it, we didn't give them the actual buyer's information.
Right.
But we gave them the markets that they were traveling from and the zip codes. Prior to that, the only thing, you know, and it happened, it's over, and we're looking at what our legal options are constitutionally. But at the end of the day, it was a fact that it was 3 days early. There was no medical, scientific reason not to show.
So, but it turned out, so how did all those measures turn out? Like, what you did may be the kind of set the bar for what a minimum that people have to do when they do the show. What was the effectiveness of this, and how did it operate as a show last night?
Yeah, you know, I think that everyone's been, you know, it's been pushed into their heads so much, whether, you know, if you're going out, you got to stay 6 feet away, wash your hands, use hand sanitizer, put on a face mask. So the public had been doing those things everywhere else. So it was really not that much more for them to do when they got to us. It was a learning curve for them, the way that we sold tickets. It was a learning curve for people that had been in the building before to know exactly. If they know that they usually buy a seat in section row F or whatever, they knew how to get there in the past. So we had to change their foot traffic, and we had to do some things that opened up, some doors that aren't normally open to access the pit, so you didn't, cross ways when you were trafficking. So, it was about a couple days worth of just 2 or 3 of us in the room with, I took a 6-foot rope, and we kind of started measuring everything with a piece of rope to try to figure out what was 6 feet.
How did it go with with the staff and the fever guns and all that stuff that you were doing?
Yeah, it went really well. You know, we outside. I don't know if you look at an image, we've got sidewalks that lead up into the gates that come into the building. So we chalked everything out on the sidewalks. So because we didn't want to do anything permanent out there, so we put chalk line markers everywhere with 6 feet distances. Everybody adhered to it. As you got close, we had 4 folks checking temperatures so we could expedite people in through the doors. We had masks available for free that are our masks if somebody didn't have one. And it turned out everybody, you know, even if they had a mask, they wanted one of ours with the logo.
Oh, you had the TempleLive logo on it?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool. And what would you say, like roughly, like what kind of capital outlay did you have to put to make all of these things happen for the show?
You know, we're still adding that up, Andy, because, you know, even up until about 30 minutes before doors, we realized we needed something else. Because you think you're prepared and it's like, oh, wait a minute, we don't have that. You know, between the sanitizers and the sprayers and I almost hate to know the answer yet.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, but in general, it wasn't going to be. This wasn't a huge money maker. There was no real profit motive.
It was never. No, I mean, no.
Yeah.
Which is what Travis and I both got accused of. We're money grabbers, you know, regardless of the public health, which was a fallacy.
Yeah. And Travis.
Yeah.
How was your experience performing? Like, did you feel that the distance from people? I think they kept you 12 feet back from the nearest audience member, and they were in little pods, right? How was that as a person to have to address?
Well, I mean, the crowd part, I couldn't really see too far, you know, into the past the pit for most of the time, but they actually got louder than you would think. So, and so I had to. It was interesting just trying to work, you know, with crowds in different sections. So I mean, it was just it was interesting, but it felt like everybody was excited. The crowd was a lot louder than you would expect to be split up like that, and only a couple hundred people in there. So, but then you had we had the camera with on the boom swinging around, you know. So you knew you were also playing to a lot more folks at home as well. So.
Yeah, you had a sing-along going at one time, right? There were people singing, which was really cool.
I was looking at all the pictures. Like people took a lot of screenshots during their live feed and shared them on Facebook. And there was I saw this one van like right in the camera, like when he was looking at it, marking at it, you know. That thing would come down on the stage and his face is like right up in the picture. So, yeah.
Hey, can you show us Van real quick? There's Van. Van was the star of the show last night.
Yeah, he walked down on stage before me.
Yeah.
And was like, it just strutted across the front, you know, before I ever came out. So I got asked 3 times. I got asked like by 3 different people last night, you know, did I train him to, you know, strut across the front and just kind of come? Because I had a like a rug laying next to me, and when I lay something down, you know, like a blanket or something wherever we are, I'm like, it's your bed, man, your bed. So he kind of knows he claims that spot, and he'll go back and forth. And he went to sleep at one time, just completely to sleep. Because I mean, he's around music. He's around me 24/7. I've had him for a little over 4 months, and I think in totality we probably spent maybe all together maybe 12 hours apart in a little over 4 months, like 24 hours a day. You know, so.
Yeah, he doesn't seem very camera shy for a dog, I have to say.
No. Well, he knows, but he will. Like we do Facebook Live every Tuesday at night, and then I'll kind of sit and watch, you know, and kind of game tape myself. And he comes up and kind of sticks his head. He watches. He knows something somehow, man. You'll try to take a picture of him sometimes. You'll see that phone pointed at him. He'll kind of duck his head.
You know, it was interesting last night that it was a live show, which we're so happy to see after 9 weeks of not seeing any live music, which is torture for so many of us. But also, it was live streamed at the same time, and that was great. And that seems like that's something that we may see more of in the future, the integration of of digital live streaming and live performance. Travis, how did that affect your performance, knowing that you were being live streamed while you were playing?
That's what I was. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Kiri, good.
That's you know, like I said, everyone was spread out, but I was, you know, that camera was swinging around in front and overhead, you know, so you knew you had a larger audience. You knew there was people at home, you know, and if I could, I'd notice and try to look into the camera at them and stuff like that, you know. But that was actually pretty fun because I don't know, I've gotten into doing the Facebook Lives, and I started them in back in late January, early February. And you know how many people, you know, there's a lot of people just, you know, invisible, just looking at you through the phone, and you just kind of talk to everybody, you know. So I've gotten used to that. So last night with that camera swinging around, it just kind of wasn't strange to me, you know.
You know, it looked really, really good. The quality of the stream was high quality from what I saw on my computer. And the sound was actually really good too. Mike, how did you go about putting together the live stream portion of it?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned the sound because the guy just over my right shoulder is Lance. He's our production engineer, my friend for years, and Lance designed the theater room and was integral in making sure that the audio piece of it tied into the video piece. So I'll let him answer that because I don't really answer how.
Hey Travis, if you can mute during the discussions, it helps because the camera goes to you automatically when you make a sound. So if you're not,
oh, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
So yeah, let's go back. I'm sorry, Mike.
Yeah. So in regard to the audio and all of the stuff, Lance, that's over our production guy.
It sounded great. How did you get such good sound through a live stream like that?
We actually isolated through the. I did to be as versatile as it could be. So in that system, there's actually a 64 by 32 split. There's also a 40 by 16 analog split. So what we did, we ran everything into the main split, ran it back into the monitor console. We mixed the monitors live through 4 mixes. We submixed that right out of my monitor console to the main stream device. And then for recorded, we actually submixed a separate mix. Wow. There's 6 different aux outputs. And I engineered it so we actually had a stereo aux out, and we sent that to our the other production crew that was doing our interviews.
Was there a platform or company you used for that live stream?
The folks that did the pay window side, I think it was Gold Star is the name of the company, but the production crew, we actually met them. You know, this thing was moving so fast. The guys that showed up with the production crew were actually the crew from ABC Nightline that was in the building 3 days before. So we just said, "Hey, you guys do this?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "All right, come on back on."
You're kidding.
So we made a deal, and then, you know, we're like, we got to put the streaming piece together. And there were so many pieces out there, and there's a lot of people doing it. And we had a little bit of a gaffe with it, which was, you know, we're in a rush to get things done. Did you lose me, or are we back on Travis?
Travis, I think you got to mute. Every time you move, we lose.
Hey, Travis, if you got
It's Van, man, it's Van.
I know, hit the mute button.
Van, you're a camera hog.
So anyhow, I mean, it was just kind of a constant moving target to where, you know, the time that it all started, kind of the media circus, when, you know, last night Travis and I were on the stage and the lights were out and he was carrying his last thing away, and all that was left illuminated was the pit. It was just kind of it was like, yeah, that just happened.
You know, we got a question from somebody. They want to know if people danced at the show. Was there dancing going on?
Yes.
Wow.
People stood up, people moved around. I mean, it was, there was only one time, I think, in the pit where we only had 20 people, which normally will have 300 if you're standing, or 180 fully seated, that I only had to ask, you know, one person to kind of, because everybody wants to get up to take a photo. And there was only one time that somebody said, "Hey man, you gotta come back to your spot."
Even in the seating areas, it was pretty much, I think, toward the end of one set, everybody got off their feet, got kind of turned on, they were pretty into it from there on out.
Dude, I mean, he played Zeppelin, he played Otis Redding, and he played Bob Seger as covers, which That's a pretty good range right there, Travis. So good on you for doing that. What were the numbers like in terms of attendance and live stream? Do you have those?
On attendance, I want to say we came in at right around 165, 170. We had 38 or 40 make it because of the forced reschedule. Did I lose you again?
Yeah, now we're here.
All right, yeah, so we had, so I want to say about 165 to 170 that we scanned in. And, but we had 38 or 40 that couldn't make it, but they said, we don't want a refund. Thank you for doing it.
Wow.
You know, we can't make the Monday. You know, we had emails from all over the place. It was like, thanks, can we contribute to the venue? Can we share? You know, what can we do to help you? You know, and then I also got where's that? I got a postcard in the mail today from a random, I wouldn't call him a fan, that the back of the postcard was just giving me the finger.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So, you know, I guess, you know, it was a polarizing topic, you know, for those folks that wanted us to have it and those that didn't.
Yeah, it certainly was. Can you talk a bit about that? Like, what kind of grief were you getting from what sectors of the business?
You know, we didn't have any grief from anybody on the industry side. I mean, the conversations that I've had with CAA, WME, SD, you know, everybody's like, you know, hey, we're watching this and we've got that are ready to get back out on the road. And we're having some really good talks with some larger acts to come into these smaller capacity rooms, and it'll be interesting to see how it works out. But I mean, on the negative side, you've got the internet folks that, you know, they'll say anything from behind a laptop, and that's, you know, that's the right. That's kind of how you voice your opinion these days. And you could tell. I mean, it was the folks that think that this is the bubonic plague, and the folks that look at the data and the odds of you getting infected and the mortality rates, and they just, you know, they were supportive. You know, we had numerous people that called us, left us voicemails of the messages that they left the governor's office, people that wrote letters to the state, you know, about just how terrible they you know, and, you know, some of the stuff I don't even want to repeat.
Well, you looked at the rates for Sebastian County, right? Isn't that where?
Yeah.
Fort Smith is? It was nothing, right? It was 12.
There were 15 confirmed cases and 0 deaths.
And Mike stated it in an interview before. He said it quite well when he said, "We're not being cavalier about this. We know it exists. If you don't want to go, don't go. We're taking all the precautions. Everything they said we needed to do, we did." So it's as much of a concert as you can do in life plus COVID as you could possibly do and be safe. And everybody was very respectful. I mean, everybody went in there. We had security there, and I was thinking there'd be a moment where we're going to have to pull security. No, everybody was very respectful, kept their distance. The masks were on. I mean, I saw somebody walk out at the end of the night, kind of absent-mindedly pull a mask off walking out. But other than that, it was a great day.
Yeah, it was.
It couldn't have gone any better.
And to show you, you know, the crazy stuff that happens is, you know, Travis is out there, you know, he's one-man band, you know, all the stuff. And so the day before, I was like, well, shit, we need some merch for Travis. So we went ahead and got the Travis McCready
that's
there.
awesome.
On the bottom of that, it's "I'm just a jack dog."
Jack Dog, that's the song.
Under your fence. So, and by the way, Travis, we didn't have I don't know how many we had, but you got some merch money out here that we need to settle on when you get up here.
There you go. Cool.
Where you at, Travis?
I think he disconnected. It'll probably
Oh, he muted us for a minute.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
But now we need.
I had my mic off, so I didn't pull the camera again.
Yeah, it looks like we lost your image, but we can hear you. So
We can hear you, but we don't have your video.
You got some merch money coming your way.
I'm going through. Can you see me? I'm going through these mountains.
We're gonna lose you. Stop! Don't go in the mountains. Whatever you do, Travis.
Hold on, we're going to the top of the hill. Let me see. We're going. I'll pull over. See, as soon as I get a clear spot.
So merch. Actually, there were merch sales.
Yeah,
that's cool.
We did a shirt that to commemorate the. Here, I'll just pull up the image. The event, and we sold out of those. We're going to have those for sale online. Let me see if I can grab it. I'll share with you in a second here.
While you're doing that, I got another question
Yeah.
from our viewers. They want to know, can you talk about the entrance and wait, and Travis, I don't want to lose you, man. I want you to perform before we get off this thing.
Okay.
But where was it? Can you talk about the entrance and exit procedures went for security and usher staff and stuff like bar lines, bathroom lines? What changes have you made and how it went? And I think that's from Mike.
I guess the question was just how the lines work.
Well, it's basically entrance and exit procedures, how it went for security and usher staff, things like bar lines and bathroom lines, and what changes you had to.
Yeah, we just, we had decals on all of the floors that measured out 6 feet for you to stand, and we had people in the at all the extra entrance points and at the bathrooms and stuff, monitoring those. So it was they handled it well. We didn't have really any questions. We walked everybody through the view a couple days before, and then again the day of.
Did you?
And we opened the door an hour earlier than we normally do on a show day as well, just to accommodate the additional time that it would take to get everybody in the building, and it worked. We kept a normal staff level of what we do for a normal sheeted show.
Were you cashless? Was it?
No, we weren't. What we did was we had one person dedicated to taking cash or credit card, and then we had another person that was mixing the beverages.
Yeah. And then how about security and bathrooms and bar lines?
Yeah, the bar lines, it was mapped out on the floor, and with that much reduced capacity in the space we have in that building, it was okay. It was all right to keep people separated.
Can you talk? So the building is amazing from what I saw. Actually, I saw it on Travis Tuesday's live Facebook stream where he was walking around the building.
Yeah.
It's a Masonic lodge with how many, 50,000 square feet or something. It looks like a temple. It's a temple. It literally.
Yeah, it's a former Masonic temple. And
1929 or something, right?
Yeah, it was built in 1921. Yeah, that's the shirt we did to commemorate the night.
Oh, cool.
If that's up there. So we got through your COVID virus here, and our Sphinx that are out in front of the building, practicing CDC requirements, and resurrection, and we couldn't do it on the 15th, but we got it done on the 18th.
That's great. That's good.
Space the building was.
Oh, the building, yeah, it's 53,000 square feet, and that's the smallest of the three. So Wichita is 83,000 feet. We've got 3 venues in Wichita. We have 4 venues inside of the Fort Smith property, and then Cleveland is the biggest of the 3. It's 226,000 square feet. We've got 4 venues and 4 meeting spaces there, or 5. Yeah, and then LeBron actually filmed his first Nike commercial in that building.
Oh wow. So these are all Masonic temples. Are you gonna like hurt us or kidnap us or do something weird because of?
I can tell you, but I'd have to kill you. Oh, wait a minute, that's what just happened there.
Mason, those buildings are beautiful. I remember one in New York that was super beautiful too. Like, what are they? Do you own the venue, or are you just running the theater part of it, or how is it?
Yeah, our group owns all the real estate. Yeah.
Wow, they're really cool. I mean,
they're beautiful. I'd love to. When this shuts down, I'd love to have you out and just give you the full tours.
And there's bars and offices and all sorts of things. I mean, they're huge. You could do any number of things there, right?
Oh yeah. The Fort Smith property a year ago in March, we had a guy that rented out the entire building. The night after, we had a Cody Jinks show on the books.
Oh yeah.
Cody's team came back and was like, "Hey, let's do a second night." I'm like, "My whole building's rented." So we moved the Cody show over to the PAC in town and had Mardi Gras going at the temple. And it was just, we had how many people we had in the building? I don't know, 1,500, 2,000 people over at the temple for a Mardi Gras party that was full on. We're dressed up and ready to go. And then another 1,400 across the street or down the street doing Cody.
Well,
Wow.
unique to the Fort Smith Temple, the sets that you saw on the video, on the stream, those are all part of the venue that we bought. Yeah, all those drops are hand painted. They've been there since 29. So artists come in all the time, and I'll bring a backdrop down. Lizzie, she was really cool. She walked in. She was, yeah, I'm playing in front of your backdrop. That's true. So everything you saw in the video, in the heavens there, we just bring them in and out.
Yeah, we got to talk about that. So wait, Travis, tell us about the background you chose.
The Haunted Forest. Well, we had 2 years ago, I used that one as well. I just think it's really cool. We opened for Blackberry Smoke in 2018, like April 26th. And we used that one then. So I told him when it's coming back, I told Mike just to go ahead and pull that one down again, kind of a tradition.
Well, I saw another one with skulls on it that I think some metal band used.
Yeah, that was something like the gates of hell or something.
Yeah.
That was doing the Facebook Live.
So, Mike, can you talk about the history of those? There's something really, really cool about that I want to know more about.
So a guy named Thomas Gibbs Moses was who painted the majority of those for the Masonic organizations in the southern part of the United States. And he had done 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and a lot of theatrical work, but most of his work is gone because after those shows would happen, they would just throw that stuff away because they didn't need it anymore. So when he got into the business of doing these things for the Scottish Rite and the Masonic organizations, you know, those are hand painted and there's different legs that drop down from the stage to the back. So it creates a full 3D effect. And there, from what we know, though, it's the set that we have is one of 8 or 9 complete sets left in existence.
And there's 89 of them?
There's 86 that create probably 25 different scenes that are associated with the different things that they did through their ritual process.
But I mean, and so each one of those curtain scenes, it's educational, right? And it pertains to the
something that they did, yeah.
The lessons are like, so maybe the skulls is like, don't be bad, or you go down to the with the skulls.
Well, and even on the second floor of the stage, there's a dead drop. There's a door that you open up from one of the green rooms, and it's a dead drop to the stage. So one of their, and they told us this, they were, you know, being strange about it. It's part of a dead drop ritual where you're actually falling into a scene that was designed to look like hell.
Yeah.
A blindfolded dead drop where they just had to step off the second floor. They caught a slide, went into the scene from hell, and then they're supposedly reborn into the Masonic group.
There you go.
So it's all just part of the ritual. Every one of those was designed for a specific purpose, but we just got lucky. I mean, they're all still there. They're still hung well. We're trying to do the best we can.
It's interesting that it's interesting how in this whole discussion, like the Masons and the conflict with the state over churches and them coming back first, and even just like how the live music experience can be something so uplifting and spiritual, you know, depending how flaky you want to be about it. But it's
I don't think it's flaky at all, Andy. I mean, if you haven't, you know, been at a live show and shed a tear, there's something wrong with you.
That's what I want to talk about, Mike, because
the biggest moment last night for me, I was doing an interview downstairs. Mike and I have been doing this building 5 years.
Yeah.
And we were praying for the day this opened. Now we've been doing it 3 years. I was downstairs doing the interview, and all of a sudden I heard voices echoing in the hallways upstairs. I hadn't heard voices in that building, and it gave me chills because these people were coming in. It was just this wonderful moment of peace, and people just forgot about the garbage, but just having that energy back in the building.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Wait, Lance, did you play music before?
Yeah, I did. I opened up every bar this guy's ever owned in every band I've played in. 9 to 99, I had hair down, you know, to my waist, and yeah.
Yeah, I Googled you and I checked that out. I thought maybe you did, but you know, everyone here knows the power of music and what it means.
Oh.
And you know, Mike, I love your story that, you know, you were a real estate developer who was into hotels, and I forget what's the name of the larger company that owns TempleLive.
BD Capital Group.
BD Capital Group, right? And they're into real estate, and part of it is these venues you guys own. But you're like an insane music fan. Like you go deep, and you'd mentioned all these new bands that you were into, and I wonder if you could talk a bit about some of the music you saw before the shutdown that really inspired you.
Yeah, I mean, we have been around, every genre that you can imagine for years. And my wife and I had taken on. We had Skillet in Fort Smith in February, and she bought some furniture in Pennsylvania, and we couldn't get it shipped here. So I was like, "Look, we got some time. We'll just drive up there and get it." And I was looking at a deal in Baltimore, and thought, okay. So we on the way at Basement East, and I caught a little Illiterate Light there, is a band I've been listening to for the last year or so. And 2 days later, a tornado hit it, and it's gone. So it's just one of those things one of those moments, and in that same buildings where I'd seen Ashley McBride 4 years ago. And,
Talk about that Ashley McBride show. That got me during our interview.
Yeah, so it was my first year. I was going over. Lauren, say hey, Lauren.
Hey, Lauren, you were great last night too.
Thank you.
So I'd gotten out there, and Becky was like, "Hey, I've got this artist. She's from Arkansas. I'd really like you to go see her." And it was kind of hot. It was the middle of the day, and I was like, "Okay," because it's like I want to see something. So I get over there, and it's there's 400 people. It was full for it. It was like 5 o'clock on a Tuesday. And Ashley comes out, and and I know her a little bit now, but then I didn't. I was like, oh,
wait,
okay.
Who turned you on to her?
Becky Gardner at WME. Becky was the first agent that I talked to on the telephone. She's like, "Come to Nashville, I'll talk to you." And I was like, "Okay," I didn't know what I was doing. And she brought me in and shut the door and told me some things that I can't repeat. And I said, "Look, we'll take care of your artist. We'll pay you, and don't overpay me because I'm too stupid not to know any better." And it was a good relationship, and so I really appreciate her. And so I get there, and Ashley comes out and she starts singing. I'm like, okay, this is real. And she goes into Girl Going Nowhere, and I'm like, and I'm sitting here, and I start to do that. I'm like, and I look around, and there's 500 other people doing the same. So finally, everybody just gives up and then Ashley starts it. It's like one of those cathartic moments where you experience something. And after her set, I went up to her, said, and after that, she goes into the what's the song, Lauren, with Kennedy?
American Scandal.
American Scandal. And anyway, I go up to her, and if you got small children listening, I'm gonna cover their ears. But
go ahead.
I said, Ashley, man, I really think you're amazing, but I didn't have any idea who you are. And she goes, I don't know who the fuck you are either. I said, really well. And then I stayed on WME to get Ashley in, and we got her booked in Fort Smith, and then she was nominated for a Grammy, and she sold us out, and we got some cool things in the building, and there's a Velvet Tiger in there, and she had debuted, I think, live for the first time, Shut Up Sheila, and so we named the tiger Sheila.
She named the tiger.
She named the tiger.
I get it.
And it stuck. So yeah, I mean, there's been moments like that for me from, I was in the Kiss Army when I was 5. So
it's funny.
Kiss Army.
I remember when he saw Ashley the first time, and he called me to tell me about her, and he was like on the phone, just distraught. He was like, I didn't mean to be an asshole. Like that was an accident. Like that was a quote. He was like, I feel so bad. Like that was rude.
Yeah.
Hey, Andy.
Yeah, Travis.
Hey, I'm like on the shoulder, so I could. Like,
I want to hear a song, Travis.
Service, but I'm gonna be late for this thing if I don't get back on the road.
All right,
I hear the promoter up there's an asshole. You better get here.
So, I'm gonna start driving. So if it goes out, then or if it starts giving me problems, I'll pull over again and then just go ahead and play you one.
Yeah, I love that. Real quick though, where are you playing tonight?
What is it? You tell them, Mike.
Yeah, we're at Tall Pines Distillery in Pineville, Missouri.
What time is he on?
Gates are in about 20 minutes, and
all right, we better go quick.
Lauren goes on at 5, and then Travis after somewhere around 6.
Who is this Lauren person you're speaking of?
Yeah, this one. Yeah. We found her under a rock somewhere a long time ago and get rid of her.
Listen, that Mother music that you and Travis do is a hit song. You got to press that up and make it go big because it is a hit. And your voice is angel-like. It's so great. And Travis and your voice together is something special. Really, really amazing. So thank you for playing that last night.
Thank you.
I missed your show. Unfortunately, the streaming thing wasn't going right then, but I need to see it. All right, Travis, man, please play us a song. We need to hear what you got. And make sure Van can get a couple of verses in there.
Yeah, let me move
Andy,
around.
I'll send you a link.
All right, cool. I'd love to see it.
All right, Van, you can't do that. You gotta keep your head back.
Van, stay out of the
Come on,
camera.
Van. There you go. Lay your head down, Van. Lay your head down. Lay down, baby. All right, here we go. Playing around this giant now.
Sure. Your soundcheck's over.
You ready? Never had me no hand-me-down. I started it out on my own. Ain't never been within reach of no crown. No choice of body of my own. I know a place where the green grass grows. That's on the other side. I hang my hat where that cold wind blows. Play my strings for money to survive. It's all a part of that broke down life, chasing dreams to earn your keep. Oh, you got to lose to play the blues, cause real pain don't come cheap. Bring it on. Where the hard times grow, there's a river of tears flow to wash away my pain. Feel that song of a night train road, yeah. Let the river of tears flow through the eye of a hurricane. South side of a railroad track, counting nickels and dimes. Sun in my face, wind at my back, what it takes to make it out in time. Broken hearts and sunny nights, and there's nothing left to wear. It's the clearing of a battlefield, so another war can begin. Bring it on, where the hard times go. Let the river of tears flow to wash away my pain. Hear that song, yeah, for the night train road. Let the river of tears flow through the hurricane. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh, better bring it on. Where the hard times grow. Let the river of tears flow to wash away my pain. Hear that song of a night train road. Let the river of tears flow to the eye of a hurricane.
Woo!
Yeah, that's one from the Natchez album, Bishop Gunn record. Song called Eye of a Hurricane.
That was awesome, 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 awesome. You know, you guys, you picked the right guy there, Mike.
Yeah, I know, man. He's pretty cool. So you wanted to know, I can show you how far Lance and I go back. And so this here is Lance Dierker.
That's Chips Enough, I think I thought I was.
That's 19.
Oh,
and
damn.
that's the younger version of me.
Oh my God. What the
Yeah.
heck? So wait, was Lance in Guns N' Roses?
This is him right here.
That was Chips Enough back then.
Yeah, and then this is Neil Taylor. Neil is who played lead guitar with Lauren last night. So it's it's just a family. of folks. And then this guy right here, Daryl. Daryl, Lance, and Lauren have a Motley Crue tribute show that they do.
Don't say
Of course they do. What did you play, Mike?
No, I can't play spoons or sticks or triangle. I don't have any.
Very nice. Hey, Travis, man, that was awesome. Travis.
Maybe we should play a little Jackdog.
Well, wait, before you go into a song, I just want to talk a bit about your background. It's amazing. If people who don't know Bishop Gunn, you guys, you accomplished so much, including opening for the Stones, Guns N' Roses. You did Slash around Europe. What else? You, Leonard Skinner, Government Mule. It's a whole, you were a road dog. Your band played like crazy.
Yeah, we did 6 weeks with Marcus King a couple years ago as well.
King, yep. Like, as a band, you guys were like right on the cusp there, and you've got this amazing perspective and experience of being a real working band. Maybe you can talk a bit about how the live industry like supported you while you were coming up, especially for those Pollstar people who probably want to know about it.
How they did what?
How the live industry supported you guys. I mean, you weren't on a major label, but you were able to tour for like how many years? 2 or 3 years constantly, right?
Yeah. Around 3 years, pretty hard. We were with WME for, I guess, around 4 years, and Braden Roundtree was our main agent, and he booked us. He booked us with as much as he threw some pretty heavy balls out there at us. Up with about the best he could, man. And during the Marcus King tour, we were out in LA, and then we went to check out the WME, the main office out there, and basically asked them to throw us a bigger ball, and they did, and that was the Slash and Miles Kennedy tour over in Europe. We did 15 shows in 11 countries in 3 weeks. And 7 of them were with Slash and Miles Kennedy. We opened one night for the Struts, which I played with the Struts before on the Kid Rock cruise. So we knew those guys, and I guess 8 shows that we just headlined.
Yeah. So you got great stories about the Stones and Guns N' Roses, and I love all of them. Tell your favorite.
My favorite. All right. Probably being, I think it was Zurich, Switzerland, and had this little green room right next door to Slash's like warm-up room, I guess, or just personal green room, whatever. And so before we went out on this, like I remember my manager being like reading off the emails. We got these emails, like these really precautious stuff, like this, that, not backstage, or this and that, and try to like basically stay away from like the bigger bands and stuff, that type of thing, which turned out to be like way of an overkill. I'm sure, I guess they get like some really annoying, every now and then they'll get some annoying assholes or something, so they just go way overboard with the rules. So by the end of that, I mean, we were all, I became real good friends with Slash's bodyguard and everything. But anyway, so I was in the green room next door, which is a wall away, and I walked out. I was gonna head down to the bus or something, and I seen Slash like as I was walking through by the open door. He's just sitting there on the couch right there, stringing his guitar, and he, blue jeans, black shirt, black jeans, and a baseball cap, hat backwards, no glasses. I'm just like, so I kind of half wave as I'm like walking by that open door, and then he's like, "Hey man, I hear you." And so I'm stopping the hallway, and I'm like, I'm thinking about like all these precautions and shit, these protocols, and I'm like, well, I can't just keep walking. And he said, "Hey, then I look like a dick, so I guess I'm gonna go back in there and bark Slash's green room." So I kind of peeked my head in the door. I'm like, "Hey man, just wanted to say thank you for having us out on this, man. This and that." He said, "Come here." And so I walked in, and I'm talking to him, and he said, "Man, we really love your record. So we heard it. I listened to your whole record several times, and we really wanted y'all out here." And he said, his wife, his girl, he's like, she really digs it too, man, the R&B kind of rock and roll thing. And I'm like, oh, thank you, Slash. You know, so then I forget where the hell I was going. I don't think I went to the bus. I just went straight back to the room over there, and was telling whoever was in there, like, holy shit, because that was the first time I'd kind of been starstruck, and I'd met lots of, you know, famous people before then, but it was Slash. I don't know, you know. It's just, I mean, he's like kind of like a cartoon character, you know, just as far as like the branding, you know, just, I mean, I'm pretty sure his silhouette's as famous as the slam dunk Michael Jordan on the tennis shoe, you know?
Sure.
So he, after the show, or after our opening, oh yeah, hold on. So I went back in the room next door, and I could hear him just like plinking around on his, on the strings he just put on there. So it's like he's just, you know, no plugged in, just kind of warming loops, stretching out his strings. I'm sitting there listening to that. And I remember thinking, damn, so that's Slash changing his own strings, you know, in there. He's not too cool to do that. He's got guitar techs and everything. And he's in there. And I remember thinking that was cool, you know, because I always say, you know, embrace technology or don't lose your calluses, or embrace, you know, whatever the addition can be, but don't, you know, to your work, but don't lose your calluses, you know, just so, and to see him sitting there changing his strings, you know, he's freaking Slash, that was pretty impressive from a work ethic kind of background himself.
Sure.
So, but, go ahead.
Yeah, so right now you are a hot property, unmanaged, right? No agent
Yeah,
yet.
man, it's
So,
me and a dog, so Van's, I don't know who's managing who.
but I want to put the word out there, man. This is a hot property. Someone should pick up this artist as quick as they can, because he's got a proven track record and he's got oodles of talent to boot. I heard you play harmonica last night, and I was blown away. I didn't realize you could play that. And then on the Facebook Live thing, I saw you play piano too, which was almost like that Spinal Tap scene where it's like it's a trilogy. You played all this like classical. Like,
hey, Andy, it's too bad he can't sing though, right?
Worst voice ever.
Yeah, I tell you.
No, it's real good, Travis. I was really impressed, and you know, I think that's part of the thing. Like, you guys coming together as a music fan, as a promoter and a building owner and an artist who's out there, was just kind of like, it felt like kismet that you guys kind of got together. And maybe
Did you say kismet?
I don't know what I said, but you guys, it was cool, you guys getting together, and I think it's real special. Maybe, I think we only got a few more minutes left, but I'd love to know how you guys came up with the idea to do this comeback show and work together on it. And then if we can, Travis, another song would be great. But first, let's talk about how did the whole idea germinate to do a big show like this?
You know, like Travis said, you know, I saw him at AIBA 4 years ago when W showcased him, and that was the first inclination of the band, I believe. And Travis and I actually spoke that day. He probably doesn't remember it, but you know, that was the first AIBA that I went to. And I said, you know, man, guys, you know, it's kind of like the second rock and roll in my opinion. And then they vanished on me when they called to add them to the Blackberry Smoke show. They're like, we want to put this band on. I'm like, absolutely. So they showed up and killed it. And we stayed in touch. You know, when they were coming through from, I think, Wisconsin or somewhere to Houston, Stones, we live in Tulsa, and they stopped and stayed at the house for a few days. They had time to lay over, so, you know, they know my family. And
Travis, do you remember that AIBA show?
Yeah.
I
actually met Garth Brooks there too, man. I was in the green room, like the hallway, like it was a big multiple green room complex or area or something. Get back, man. And he came up and man, he was short as hell. Shorter than I expected, should I say. I'm a tall guy. Anyway. So, and he's like, oh man, that was great show, great. And I'm like, oh, you saw that? And he's like, yeah, I was in there. And then I guess people started noticing him, so he had to duck into the green room area. But Garth Brooks was like, hey, great job. And I'm like, thanks, Garth Brooks.
So, but that AIBA, for people who don't know, International Entertainment Buyers Association, they have a yearly thing in Nashville. Do you remember where you played?
It was in Nashville at the
it was at the Omni
Music Hall of Fame, I think.
Yeah, it was at the Omni that year.
Ah, but that ends up being a pretty great platform for any band to play. Have you seen other artists there as well?
You know who? Hey! We got Rick rolled in real life, man. Rick.
Oh yeah, we were there for that night. Yeah.
What happened?
Rick Astley was there.
He was actually there. I thought you meant.
Yeah, he played right before us, man. We got Rick rolled in real life.
Wow. Well, you came out. Maybe you Rick rolled him if you came after. Cool, man. Well, I'm so glad you guys have been doing what you've done. It's a big step. What's before you play us out of here, which I can't wait for, Travis? What's your plans going forward, Mike, and then Travis? I want to hear your plans too.
Yeah, so I just got an email, and it's kind of interesting that we operate a venue in Wichita, Kansas.
Yep.
So the governor there just came out with a phase 2 plan that appears to allow casinos to open, but not my venue. So I guess we might be looking at round 2.
Oh, here we go.
Sounds like a lobbying power issue and not a health and safety issue. So pay attention.
Yeah. Are you actually doing a lawsuit in Arkansas? Or are you going to let it go?
We're looking at that really seriously right now. We've got some legitimate claims, I feel, but I'm not an attorney, so we're just waiting on advice from counsel.
Yeah. All right, good. And Travis, what do you got coming up?
Man, wanting to do a solo album like really soon. I'm working on new music every day, whether I have really anything in my sights or not. But yeah, I want to, get a solo album out and do some touring and get a backing band, with preferably with a repetitive one, but try to meet as many people and know as many players that I like regionally, and in different parts, and that, but I want the upright. I really like the upright thing with my deal, and it's just upright and a drummer and maybe some other kind of player, but yeah, I just want to have as many people I know that I like in that position in several regions of the country, because it's just right now, man, just a backing band and in my position, and to just get ride or dies, is going to be pretty tough. So basically, just have as many people out there and throughout the country that know my stuff, and I can have on call and whatnot, and always pull a good show off.
Yeah, I heard that some of your demos, man, they sound amazing. It's really good stuff. It's really impressive. So with that, you want to jam us out of here?
Hey, Andy, I'm going to jump off. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you so much.
Mike's tired of hearing me sing, huh?
No, somebody's here, and Gates just opened, and my headliner's not here, so I got to go, I got to go do something.
All right, cool. Mike, thank you so much, man.
Thanks, guys. Pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Now everybody knows by the sight of my clothes that I'm one bad dog. I ain't afraid to impose on the ones that rather stay in the yard. I ain't got nothing against you, just stay on guard. But if you like to see the neighborhood, I can show you a few things might do you some good. No, I ain't got $1, but I got 2 cents. I'm just a jackdaw on the young fence.
Woo!
Hey, jackdaw. Jackdaw.
Oh, no. I think we're having trouble. Can you guys hear me? I think we're losing Travis. Travis, I think you're jammed up. He's in the mountains somewhere trying to get to a show in Missouri tonight. All right. I think we may have to call this. It has been a real pleasure. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in for this. Check out Pollstar.com where we have – oh, he's back. Oh, he's gone. We have our coverage. Oh, you're there. Travis, you're going in and out.
Ah, man, I was getting down.
It
I didn't even know you was gone.
That was Jack Dog too, right?
Yeah, let me hit that bridge real fast.
Get to the bridge. Take it to
If
the
you
bridge.
ever
Oh.
leave a Jack Dog alone, 'cause he ain't usually one to bite. Heaven is just mine. I'm just a Jack Dog under your fence. Jack Dog. I'm just a Jack Dog under your fence. Just a Jack Dog under your fence. Oh yeah. There we go.
There you go. I love that song. That is a hit song too, man. That really rocks. It sounded good last night too. So thank you, Travis, a million times over, both for playing the show and for showing up here. It's a great thing.
Yeah, sorry about the driving, man. I think we said 11 the other day, and the Mike told me 2 yesterday, or last night. He told me 2 o'clock. So it kind of, I wasn't supposed to be on the road right now. So.
Well, thank you a million times over. We want to hear more from you without question. People, please, I got to give ourselves a plug. Check out our cover story with Travis in this week's issue of Pollstar. It's on Pollstar.com. We also have a hub for this interview. It'll also be on Pollstar. You can see the whole thing. Watch it over and over and over again. Thank you, everybody, for being you and showing up and doing this. Travis, you are the man. Van is the man too. Where's Van? Can we have a goodbye from Van? Van, thank you.
Van's getting tired, man. I think he wore himself out last night. I got so many pictures of him just standing on the edge of the stage, just bluntly just mugging the crowd down.
He's a camera hog. All right, y'all. Thank you so much, Travis. Take care of yourself. Good luck tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. I'll be in touch with you.
All right, later.
Later.